I'd have to really think about it. The first thing that came to my head when you said that was Jack McVeigh's 47 piece for some reason against the Steeler Breakers. Could have had 50, maybe should have had 60, but I need more time to think. There was way too many.
I'd have to say Bull Quall shutting players down. Not one particular game, but the way he played the whole year. He used to just come in and lock people up. And because I was hard on Bull Quall a couple of years ago.
You're hard on a lot of players, man.
But look,
You've got a reputation in this league now.
So do you, my friend. But when they play like that, you got to give them their credit.
Again, the Ignite Cup final was fantastic, by the way. That was right around we forgot about that.
Lucky you said my friend there. He was about to say another.
I thought so.
We were about to be all out of a job.
Very done.
Hey, let's jump into the key factors right now for both teams.
Oh, we love Keith. The key, I think, is controlling the glass. That's what Josh King told me yesterday. He said, we have to win the battle of the boards. We know how hard they crash. Windler, Christian Doolittle, and then defensive transition, they've been really poor, and Perth will try to expose them.
For the other guys, they got to contain Sober. You're not going to stop him, but just slow him down. Don't let him get going. He can't have 30 points. Run Southeast Melbourne off the three-point line. They love to shoot threes. When they score more than 14 or 15 threes, they generally win. And Pepper and Doolittle have to be very aggressive. Shoot the ball, man. Get it up, son. Get it up!
Did that without even, you need your glasses for that one.
Come on.
That's why we love to be here.
Hey, we spoke mainly on Elijah Pepper when it comes to the fever break and being over in the Philippines, being away from the team. But what about John Riley not having that voice? Because we know what it's like when a substitute teacher walks into the class. The guys don't pay a huge amount of attention. You made a comment earlier about John Brown III being so vocal. Sometimes you get sick of the coach's voice. Could that be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, having the voice away for a couple of days over that break, allowing him to reset, and now he's coming in and I'm sure he's going to be full of voice.
Absolutely, and that's where Wagstaff comes in. Wagstaff's around, he's done it before, you know, but John really has got to come in and put his stamp on this game. He knows how to play basketball.
I think it's more Christian Doolittle as well, because he wouldn't allow slippage at practice. He competes hard every single time. I think they'll be okay.
And it's not just the players that are going to be having a good final series, well, at least the winners, but one fan could be set for the ultimate finals experience thanks to Choice Hotels. You could win courtside finals tickets, flights and accommodation, plus an unforgettable on-court experience. Sign up to Choice Privileges now for your chance to win. Scan the QR code and
bravo.
enter.
Bravo.
This is what it's all about. We can break it down as much as we want, but eventually you got to get off the fence and say who wins and why. Leonard, you kick it
Southeast
off.
Melbourne win because they're at home and they had time to work on that defense.
Perth Wildcats win because of Dylan Windler. Dylan Windler's special tonight.
Well, Dylan Windler, he's had some big games against Southeast Melbourne, so we'll see how he fares tonight. The Perth Wildcats and Southeast Melbourne getting ready to get the NBL26 finals underway. Let's kick it off. Championships aren't won with the volume down. They're won in moments that shake the floor.
They have to come from behind. Walker for the win!
When silence feels safe, champions choose noise.
Vasiljevic from deep on the floor. I don't believe it. Steps back. Good night, Bryce Cotton.
The bone-crunching, rim-rattling poster that lifts the roof.
Oh, Cheetos! Oh, that is thunderous.
And the pop of the crowd after stealing victory from the jaws of defeat.
Marshall working hard from close range. Oh, knocks it down. Right on the buzzer. Adelaide have stolen their way back in and stolen the game.
6 teams will bring the noise. It's NBL Finals, and this year we're playing it louder. And it starts with the big three. Nathan Sobey and Kendrick Davis have been dominant all year.
Davis puts it up. Sobey, spectacular.
But they're still chasing Bryce, a man who collects silverware for fun.
53 points.
It's been a little quiet for Melbourne United lately. Can they roar back into contention? That'll help.
As for home court, it isn't a place, it's a sound. No one knows that better than Perth and Tassie, two of the loudest armies in the league.
It's the NBL26 Finals. It's time to play it louder.
It was way back in September when the NBL26 journey began, and as the season's gone on, only the strongest have been able to survive. So here we are in March with just 6 teams remaining, and the ultimate glory
is suddenly in sight. For tonight's winner, a semi-final spot awaits. And for the loser, it's last chance saloon on Saturday in a do-or-die play-in game. Hello and welcome to the Hungry Jacks NBL Final Series. It all starts tonight with 3v4 Southeast Melbourne versus the Perth Wildcats. I'm Jack Heverin, Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze, two legends of the league alongside me. There is a special feeling in the air, gentlemen. Welcome.
There certainly is, Jack, and this is a big-time game. Even though both teams get a second hit at it, Andrew, you don't want to play more games than that are required.
No, absolutely right. And both these times have had some time off. The Perth Wildcats been without their head coach the last week or so. But that time off just to freshen up a little bit. I think the coaches would prefer not quite as much time off because it breaks their momentum a little bit. But for a team like the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and you could say the Perth Wildcats, been a little banged up, had some players out throughout the course, just a chance to freshen up.
Here's what we're playing for. Here's what's at stake tonight for the winner of this game. As we said, Derek, a passage through to the semi-final series. For the loser, they will back up again on Saturday against the winner of tomorrow night's game between Melbourne and Tasmania.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, you don't want to play more games than necessary. The second aspect of this whole road to the championship is you want to avoid the Sydney Kings as much as possible. You want to see them in the finals. That makes this game even more important.
So for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, they finished the regular season third on the table, 22 wins across it, Andrew Gaze. As one of the greatest shooters in the league, you are very qualified to talk about this next stat. When Southeast Melbourne shoot the ball well, they win.
Well, that's impressive. They make 13 threes. They win a lot. 15 wins and 2 losses and less than 13. Well, the dynamic changed significantly with those 9 losses, but they lead the competition in three-point field goal attempts. It's been the hallmark of their style of play all season. They will take more than their opponents most of the time, and we're expecting the same. And at the same time, it's this guy here, Nathan Sobey, third in MVP voting. Look at these spectacular numbers, Derek. 22.5, the 5 rebounds, and please do not forget about the handy 4 assists.
What I like is that he's lifted his efficiency. This year, he's 35% from the three-point line. And as you mentioned, he's had a career season at the age of 35, aggressive early in this one.
So for the Perth Wildcats, one of the form teams coming into postseason action. One thing that's not in form, Derek, is their form here at John Cain Arena. When they step inside this gym lately, they aren't winning.
Well, look at those numbers, and that is Doomsville for the Perth Wildcats. Now, Andrew, you know my philosophy. The longer a streak goes, the closer it is to ending.
Spoken like a true gambler.
Very much so.
Who's had those 6 red on the roulette table coming up and still come up short, though, Derek.
Word.
We are just about ready to rock here in the play-in. Kelsey Brown, courtside with us tonight. Kels, welcome to you.
Thanks, guys. Great to be here. I want to put a little spotlight on Dylan Windler, though you're talking about the Perth Wildcats. Dylan Windler, he's been battling a little bit of plantar fasciitis in the last month, a bit of foot pain, but we know that he loves a matchup with the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. He averages just under 13 points a game, but the last 2 times he's met the Phoenix, he's averaged 25 points and 9.5 boards to go with that as well. 2 seasons in the league, 2 postseasons. What Dylan Windler will we get tonight?
Well, he's a big X factor, obviously. He's so talented, can shoot the ball, excellent rebounder, and he's been in and out of the lineup in the second half of the season. It's a big key for the Wildcats that he's now healthy. They got to keep him that way.
Starting 5s for both teams. Perth going in without David Aquera tonight, who won't play because of plantar fasciitis. They have been without Jaron really for the second half of the season. Southeast Melbourne, Drewy, have got a full roster to choose from. No injury concerns.
Yeah, and it's been like that for certain chunks of the season, but this man, the tip for me, Geordie Hunter, you need to have a big one out of him.
The winner of this game will play the Adelaide 36ers in semi-final action. The loser will host on Saturday night in the play-in game against either Melbourne or Tasmania. Vaughan Mabry, James Gregool, Ken Arick, the 3 men in charge, and off the first possession, it's Sobey who tees off.
Good execution there by Southeast Melbourne to get Nathan Sobey a really good look. And that's how they play it all year. Get Sobey looks early, let him be aggressive.
Elijah Pepper back from Boomers duties, where he treated international teams like they were NBL1 teams. Is Christian Doolittle for 3.
Nice. And that's something that's really evolved in his game, the ability to knock down the three. And in fact, it was on this floor last season in the playoffs where he really stepped up. And to me, it's the Phoenix about the ball pressure. They're renowned for their defense, but the extended defense with Henshaw at the guard spot, that's a watch for me as a window knocks down the three ball.
And talking about somebody whose three-point efficiency has really improved, Iwandu now one of the premier two-way imports in the competition, Jack.
He's got his shooting stats to a much more palatable number. This ball movement from the Wildcats ends up in a Dylan Windler three. Perth have knocked down their first two from outside.
There's a fundamental mismatch problem that Southeast Melbourne have. John Brown can only guard JLA or Doolittle. He can only take one guy at a time, and that frees up the other big to go to work.
Here is Christian Doolittle, checks the feet. That time unsuccessful. The Wildcats have won the last two against Southeast Melbourne. The Phoenix won the first two meetings of the season between the two teams.
And in all those games, though, it could have gone either way. It was they're tight ball games.
Geordie Hunter rolls. And when he rolls with purpose. Early foul on Joe Luala-Chul Jr.
And it's vital that Geordie Hunter be a really strong offensive threat. We saw him do a good job shooting the three ball in the first half of the season. Gets a good delivery there by Foxwell. He's one of the best in the competition at that. But on the other end, Andrew, he needs to be able to defend effectively either Doolittle or JLA.
That's right, and JLA, he's had an up and down season. The numbers are okay, but he could have a big impact. I think you're right, the matchups here, when Geordie Hunter's not in the game, then you would suspect that that would work in favour of Joe Luala-Chul.
Josh King, runner-up in the Coach of the Year voting. We had the Gazies last Monday night. Feels like an eternity ago that we had the NBL Awards night. Foxwell with a steal. Picked Henschel's pocket and puts the Phoenix in front.
Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. This extended defense, Henschel up the floor, and once they get it over the centre line, they can get into their action.
Windler left open, hurts them again.
They're getting good looks from deep. Now 3 or 4 early in this one. And despite that turnover by Henschel, the Wildcats are doing a good job in getting into their offense.
The Phoenix had the lead, but only for a moment. John Brown steps out. Just one of 13 for the season before that. Not his strong suit. Brown active. Foxwell, the recipient again. The Phoenix pressure gobbling up Perth when they're handling the ball.
John Brown, great hands, but right back at him, the Wildcats draw a foul on Hunter.
So this has been a talking point for the Wildcats all season long, the lack of point guard. As we take a look here on the Amy replay, Derek, they have David Duke Jr. back in the lineup coming off the bench, but is this an area that the Phoenix will try and exploit?
Well, definitely, because these guys are inexperienced in playoff situations. Henschel and Pepper advancing the ball up the court. You see Henschel, he makes a cardinal sin. You never put the ball behind your back in the backcourt.
And I'm not sure David Duke Jr. adds that much in that area. In other areas of the game, defensively, with his length and athleticism, clearly he can help. But it's something they don't have that designated ball carrier that you feel comfortable with to advance the ball under the extended pressure you're going to face against the Phoenix.
And there's an early look, great pass. Sorry for Brown.
Both teams playing with a lot of energy on the offensive end, getting good looks. And again, Pepper under a lot of pressure.
Dylan Windler's been the man with a hot hand early. Couple of made threes. Henschel steps into his and got it.
It's a white hot start by the Wildcats from the three-point line. They've had some good looks too. A lot of said about the defense of the Phoenix as Geordie Hunter lets it fly, but they're more renowned for their extended defense than in that half-court. Their half-court defense from time to time has been found wanting.
As a rule, they've turned it over again. Phoenix with numbers up ahead. Foxwell lays it in. And the points from turnover stats in the first quarter is a good one for the home team.
And Derek, to me, with the problems we've already seen early on, 3 turnovers now in this extended defense, they're trying to do it off the dribble. You can advance it off the pass just as much as you can off the dribble, but they don't seem to be doing that.
Fourth turnover. Sobey drives and leaves it short.
Well, that's going to be an in-game adjustment John really will have to make. Set it up systematically so that those lead passes that you mentioned are available, Andrew.
Wildcats Jr. off the bounce, thought he was fouled. Told to play on. His direct opponent, Hunter, got on his bike, and the Phoenix lead by 4.
This pace is too much for the Wildcats. Doolittle is puffing in front of us. He's already got 2 turnovers trying to get the ball up the floor.
An early move from the Phoenix. Full court pressure, and it's given the Wildcats something to think about. Doolittle, great look again. Drains the 3.
He says, Derek, puff on this.
Well, that's the thing that's really kept him engaged. They're 5 of 6 from the 3-point line, despite the 4 turnovers. Nathan Sobey, when he puts the ball to the floor and gets to the rim, he can finish in traffic. He sometimes makes some unusual decisions when he gets there, but it's 2 fouls now, so it goes to the line for the and 1, but also draws that second personal foul.
And Andrew, this is the tough part about having that 9, 10, 11-day break. It's really tough to find your game fitness, and you're trying to get yourself into that second wind state that is often spoken about. But when that's going to come and when you find your comfort level from a cardiovascular perspective is very hard to predict. I got a crash course in sports science during the break, Drew.
Yeah. I like it.
Thank you.
But just to let you know, that they haven't been on holidays for a week. They have been running up and down, I'd imagine.
Unlike Derek. David Duke Jr. into the game. Missed the bulk of the season with an elbow injury. Here's Jesse Wagstaff stepping out. Some veteran experience. He's always been capable of that.
Well, if you're going to turn it over a lot, you can go down on the other end and knock down some 3s. That will certainly balance it out.
Oh, Nathan Sobey from in-out laps. Woo!
Wow. These teams are absolutely cooking on the offensive end.
Perth 6 of 7 from long range. Southeast Melbourne 9 of 14 from the floor. And Windler will be on the line shooting 2.
Yeah, this
Coming into the season, Drewy,
yeah,
the Wildcats haven't been the greatest team shooting the 3 ball. 8th in the competition at just 32%. But so far tonight, they're knocking them down, but it's your point earlier about the looks that they're getting. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, well, a lot of it's come with the penetration kick. They've had a couple in transition as well, and they've been wide open, really good looks. And it does wonders for your confidence. For a team that is not necessarily renowned, as you look at the shot chart, you can see that is a lot of green from beyond the arc. But once you get your eye and you get some confidence, mediocre shooters, when they've knocked them down, start feeling good about themselves. When all of a sudden some of those are contested, you get a little bit more rhythm to your shot, and good things can happen.
2-point game in the seeding qualifier. The winner through to the semi-finals, and Nathan Sobey has made a very good start to this game. That's 8 points now.
You can tell by the look in his eyes, he doesn't feel like there's anybody on Perth that can stay in front of him on that end of the floor. And right now, he's 100% correct.
Wagstaff explores and gets it to roll through. This is good impact early from Jesse Wagstaff. Phoenix go to their bench. Aaliyah, Glover. There is a catch, Aaliyah. Malik Lewis into the game as well. Likewise, Ian Clark. The points just keep coming. And keep coming.
Well, they've decided to meet fire with fire. They've beaten the break by just exploding it down the floor. as quick as they possibly can. Don't get the Phoenix a chance to set up in the backcourt for that extended defense.
Well, Drew, do you feel like there's a chance that Perth could win the game continuing like this at this pace?
I don't think it's in their favor, but it's about trying to find the balance along the journey. And they got to do a better job of getting some stops. Oh my goodness.
That's deep from Nathan Sobey. Rebound by Dylan Windler, who has 8 points in this game so far. He's the equal leading scorer for the Wildcats. Christian Doolittle has 8. Another turnover. It results in an easy 2 for the Phoenix, and John really has seen enough. After 5 first-quarter turnovers, he wants to chat about things.
Well, they do. The 29 points and those 5 turnovers you mentioned, most of them have been in one-on-one wars. They're battling in the back. See here, get it out of your hands. Don't let them get that. Pass the ball, advance it, get the ball deeper, get the defense to drop, and then execute in the half court. Because it's just 5 in the first quarter. It's not working, just making it a one-on-one contest.
And in the past, at times, Perth has been able to play Doolittle at a point forward type position, but he's already having to deal with John Brown and turn that ball over twice, so I'm not sure where his confidence levels are playing that position.
Tangerine timeout, 2:13 remaining in the first quarter, and Kelsey Brown has found someone very, very important in the house tonight.
Absolutely he is. I'm here with Dante Exum, Aussie basketball star and co-owner of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Dante, how impressed are you by the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix season so far?
Oh, I've definitely been impressed. It's actually my first home game, so it's just been good to get to see the environment, the fans, so it's been great so far.
Did you know that this is what they were capable of, the kind of basketball that Josh King has put them through?
Yeah, no, as soon as Josh King came in, it was, you know, the rah-rah and everything, but, you know, he's been great. They're being up defensively, and that's what you want to see.
I know that there's a lot of people in here, including Felix von Hoff, that have been talking about getting you back in this league. I know that everything's up in the air at the moment, but could we ever see you back in the NBL?
I'm playing it day by day right now. I'm just trying to stay healthy, get healthy, and then we'll see where that takes me.
Okay, well, hopefully we see you back. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. That'd put a lot of pressure on the coach when the owner's out there.
Certainly would. Where would you like to play, Dante? And for how many minutes is it foul on the Phoenix? So out of that timeout, Drew, what would John really be telling his men, particularly when it comes to looking after the ball?
Can you please take care of the ball? And he'd be trying to find a way to, firstly, whose hands does he want in to bring the ball up the floor? And then he'd be, I think, like I mentioned, just trying to get it. Oh, David Duke Jr. comes in with a nice two-hand stuff. But different methods for which you can advance the ball, and he's changed his personnel a lot already in this first quarter, trying to find a combination that can take care of the ball.
Well, Russo Nance, sorry, Jack, there'll be a lot of pressure on him right now.
Pass inside from Malik Lewis. And next up, he's probably the closest thing they've got, Dante Russo Nance, to a recognised ball handler in this team, isn't he?
He certainly is, and he's played a lot better the past 4 or 5 rounds of the regular season, starting to find some confidence. But these are critical minutes for him right here. As nice backdoor pass, and Duke Jr. welcomes himself to Melbourne. Two-hand flush.
Perth have won 10 of their last 12 games coming into March. They were one of the form teams of the competition, and they took some big scalps along the way, including the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Ian Clark steps into history. Offensive rebound by Ketchalier, and they can reload through Clark once more.
They're relentless, Phoenix. They get more bench points than any other team in the competition, and the energy it's required to play when you're extending the defense, you can understand why they throw their lineups around, get it in and out.
You're right, Andrew. The Phoenix average, as Doolittle draws the foul, the Phoenix averaged 33 points a game off the bench to lead the competition. But one thing that would be concerning to Josh King right now for a team that finished 4th in defensive rating this season is they're still giving up 27.
Yeah.
It's all of the stats that Derek just reeled off for you, and a whole lot more available on the NBL app. Download it now. It's free at the App Store and Google Play. All the coaches' press conferences from the final series as well. Bit of talk about free agency starting to bubble around. It's all there. Christian Doolittle goes 2 of 2. Cuts it back to 4 in a high-scoring first quarter here at John Cain Arena. Wednesday night hoops, Foxwell on the move.
Well, between Sobey and Foxwell now, the ease at which they can find their way all the way to the basket, and this is what happens. The Perth Wildcats so conscious of the 3-ball, it opens up that paint. You're not quite as far off in help positions. And it's trying to find that balance between protecting the rim and the 3-point line is hard against the Phoenix.
Big final possession here for the Wildcats. Christian Doolittle, no good on his 3. Glover checks the clock. And it's the Phoenix who lead at quarter time, 35-29. If you like buckets, then this one's for you. John Cain Arena, your host for Wednesday night action. Southeast Melbourne leading by 6 at quarter time. And it's all thanks to Choice Hotels. Stick with us. The second quarter is coming up next.
A fast-paced, high-scoring affair here at John Cain Arena between the Perth Wildcats and the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They're playing off for the seeding qualifier, and it's 35 plays 29. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix lead by 6 at the quarter time break. I listened in to Josh King. He was happy with the job that they did on the stops, but he was worried about the 3-point line. And Doolittle for the Perth Wildcats, he played the whole 10 minutes of that first quarter. He leads the scoring of the game with 10 points. So he sits out here as we get underway.
And we get underway with another turnover and desperation for Southeast Melbourne, who are making life horrible for ball carriers.
Incredible performance in forcing turnovers on the Perth Wildcats. We look at the Amy replay to start this second quarter. Henschel again finds himself in trouble in the backcourt. Spectacular hustle from Foxwell and more points in the paint. That is now 28 points in the paint already, Andrew.
Well, the 28 points is one thing, it's the comparison that really sticks out because it's 28-6.
Ouch.
Now, they've been able to compensate for that a little with the work from the 3-point line. But John really, he did some things in there. I was not expecting to see Hefner in this one. He's played a grand total of 34 minutes. He gets him in the first quarter. So, and I think that this is just John Riley's quest to find a way to get a combination that can take care of the ball. 7 turnovers already, and Henschel looks a little uncertain about it.
Manages to draw a foul there on Owen Foxwell, which is his second in 30 seconds. But, Derek, it appears as though there's a really clear plan when it comes to Ben Henschel.
They're putting him under all sorts of pressure, and not only is Henschel's just struggling to get around players, his skills look off, Drew. He doesn't look like he's comfortable handling the ball like he was late in the regular season, and sometimes that little break can disrupt your rhythm. And right now, Henschel's got to find a way to run this offense, because this lead is growing, and you feel the momentum going strongly in favor of the Phoenix.
Well, it's one thing when you're playing against a lot of the other teams, but when you're up against the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix and the Sydney Kings in particular, with their extended defense and the way in which they're just harassing up the floor, it does put a lot of pressure on the ball carriers, no matter who you are. But if you're not accustomed to it, and in a playoff environment, it becomes even tougher. But it's this end that's also an issue for them.
John Brown gets after it and wins possession back for Southeast Melbourne.
And they've called a foul, Jack, which will be number 3 on Joe Lawal-Atrul Jr. What a huge play.
It is, that's a big call. And Joe doesn't like it. Let's have a quick look at the replay here. So it gets knocked out of his hands. Oh, that's a bad call.
I think we can live without that foul.
That is I don't think it was a foul.
Yep.
If anything, Brown's just grabbing onto Joe Lawal-Atrul, so I think that's a no call. But it certainly didn't look like it should have been on JLA.
It's a massive problem now for the Wildcats, who don't really have a backup big in that position, Derek. They go to a different lineup. Windler had it, then lost it. Pepper watches his man fly by and misses everything. Uncharacteristic from Elijah Pepper, the pressure of playing basketball. Offensive rebound, Phoenix. Glover buries a 3.
And this game is going right to the blueprint of Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, how they win basketball games. High energy, high possession, up-tempo, offensive rebounding, which they have 6 already, and then, of course, the turnover situation.
Richard Doolittle has 10 points for Perth, and Windler has 8. They need Henschel to get going more like that.
And he's capable. He's just got to... He's not going to shy away from it. He's not going to shell on the offensive end.
Nathan Sobey getting set to check back in. 3rd versus 4th, the winner straight through to the semi-finals. Is Henschel a little slow to get going after that contest? It looks like now, every time Southeast Melbourne are in possession offensively, they think they can score.
Well, they're liking their one-on-one matchup, and you see Henschel try and wall up. Clark inadvertently strikes him with the elbow across Henschel's jaw. He'll take a seat, but it's just sometimes, Andrew, you got to be able to look that offensive player in the eyes and be able to keep him in front of you. And right now, Perth unable to do that effectively.
Oh, no, that's the worst of the lot. Another turnover. That's number 8. Kelsey Brown, courtside.
Hi, Jack. Yes, you just spoke about the importance of Henschel getting going. If you speak to Christian Doolittle, he says that the importance of Pepper and Henschel for their championship run and having high impact on that offensive end is something that they are looking very much towards. So Pepper, no score on the board yet, and Henschel with just 7 points. Derek, what are you looking for from them? Is it over 10 points? Is it what they need on the day?
Well, they have been doing such a good job to close out the season, growing in confidence. But right now, Kelsey, playing against a red-hot team with so much pressure on them, and with that, I know Pepper played in the FIBA break, but that was not this.
No, it was not.
No, Guam.
With respect to Guam and the Philippines, Drew.
Yeah, that's right. And the looks he had, a lot easier against those teams than it is here, but that's what he's also good at as well. Works great off 2 feet. Can come, whether it's the catch and shoot off 2 feet and the penetration like we saw then. That's his bread and butter.
Brings some good form into this time of the year. Likewise, Geordie Hunter, who's fouled to be shooting free throws. Hunter's last 5 games has averaged 10.7 rebounds, and importantly for him, has managed to stay out of foul trouble, which was an issue for him in the middle part of the season.
It was, and he's so valuable to their championship prospects. He's a talented big, continuing to improve his basketball IQ, and I think he's getting a better understanding of what is required of him from head coach Josh King.
Here is Josh King, barking instructions. 5 on the floor for the Wildcats. Russo Nance, Doolittle, Duke Jr., Cam Hoofner, and Elijah Pepper for the Phoenix. Brown the third, Hunter, Sobey, Clark, and Awundu.
And without David Aquera in the lineup with that plantar fasciitis, they're trying to find minutes, and Hoofner's got to do a good job, not hurt the team, just be out there and good enough so that the lead doesn't grow in his minutes as he gets away with an offensive foul.
Nice take from Duke Jr.
Yeah, you're spot on. He's just got to hold up and in, do some work on the glass where it's been difficult for them. They don't have an offensive board in the contest, and that's one thing that he should be able to do, provide a bit more energy.
Well, right now the Wildcats are running at a shot deficit. They're minus 16 in field goals attempted in this game. And I know, Drew, mathematics, other than 1, 2s, and 3s, aren't necessarily your specialty. But I think you figure that you can't win many basketball games with that formula.
No, well, the fact that they don't get any second chances from the O boards and they got 8 turnovers, that would equate for more opportunities for your opponent.
Seeding qualifier, Andrew Gase, Kelsey Brown, Jack Heverin, Derek Rucker, a.k.a. Pythagoras, courtside.
Wow, a guy can't even talk intelligently without being...
Well, it's sort of a nice theory, but it's quite easy to see why they're getting not as many shots.
That was a wild one by the Wildcats.
Sobey for Clark, and they lay it up from close range again. It gets out to a double-figure lead for the first time since this quarter began. And the Perth Wildcats down 10. Joe Lawala-Chul Jr. with 3 fouls have got a big problem.
And it's perfect. If you're a Southeast Melbourne Phoenix fan, your team has sped the Wildcats up, forced them out of their game plan, and has them playing at a tempo that is ineffective and one that they are not comfortable with.
No, spot on, and I just saw Sunday Detch just checking in, so he might be able to provide a little bit more security in the backcourt. But given the numbers that you were reeling off, to only be down 10 at this stage, the last couple of minutes and possessions haven't been great, but they're hanging in there. They're trying to find a way. Now, you don't want the floodgates to open now, and that was a perfect timeout for John, really, to try and stop the machines and regroup.
Harlem Globetrotters coming to town a little later on this year. 100 years of thrills, 100 years of laughs, and of course, 100 years of joy across Australia and New Zealand. You can buy your tickets now. That's still to come later on this year. To come tomorrow night, Melbourne and Tasmania in a knockout eliminator. The play-in qualifier, the winner will go through. Play the loser of this game on Saturday. For the loser of Melbourne, Tasmania, it's adios.
And Tasmania with a big challenge ahead of them, running low on bodies. Scott Ross just lamenting his team's inability to stay healthy, but they love playing against Melbourne United, so it will be a fascinating contest tomorrow night, right here again.
Wildcats need points, but they need to find ways to stop Southeast Melbourne from scoring. Everything seems like hard work at the moment, which is exactly how Christian Doolittle likes it.
Well, that's rare, going at John Brown II and just playing bully ball and coming out on top. Doolittle matching it with his strength with the ball.
Cut it back to 8. So a score and now a stop. Couple of positives for Perth out of that Tangerine timeout. That is not a positive, though. Another turnover, a catch a lead.
Oh, he got a flat tire. Got fouled. I'm not sure he was going to. He was trying to throw it down, and the leg just didn't respond to the messages coming from the brain.
Sloppy pass there by Doolittle, commits his 4th turnover of the game. And you're right.
Oh.
Went to hit the mini tramp.
And it didn't
quite get it square, Jack. No elevation. Luckily, he drew the foul, go to line to shoot 2.
It's been handy off the bench this season to catch a lead for Melbourne. Averaged 11 minutes, 4.5 points, 3 rebounds.
And up and down, because Mitchell was playing a lot of those minutes mid-season, but he fought his way back into the rotation. And he's been good. Oh, he's grimacing too. He might have hurt himself.
More extended pressure from the Phoenix. This time, Perth are able to find a way through. They trail by 10. 5th meeting of the season between these two teams. And so much more on the line tonight. Doolittle barges his way in.
Well, he likes that matchup as he screams and one to Vaughn Mayberry, but he's just got too much strength for Iwandu, who's a very good defender, but that's just too much for him to handle.
He lost it. Iwandu retrieved it.
Really extraordinary when you look at the numbers of the Perth Wildcats offensively. Once they get it down there, and as long as they don't turn it over, they're 14 of 20, 7 of 11. They're at 70% from the field, and still trail by 10.
So you're seeing the positives here for Perth, aren't you, Drew?
I am, because, you know, I think that we saw that last possession in the backcourt. They basically running a set in the backcourt to get it over the center line and get into their action. If they can find a way to take care of the ball and perhaps get some extra second shots, they can easily get themselves back into this one.
Duke Jr. got going quickly. Nice find from Windler. And they're within 8 once again.
It's going to be vital that Perth really stop that dribble penetration that Southeast Melbourne has hit them with all game. Keep the ball in front of you, even if you have to gap and get off of your man a little bit.
52 points Southeast Melbourne have on the board. There's still 4 minutes to go before halftime. It is so easy for the Phoenix on the offensive end.
And you know the other remarkable thing, we've been talking about the Wildcats' 9 turnovers, but Phoenix have not had a turnover in the game.
Is that because they're not under enough pressure to commit a turnover?
A bit of that for sure. The defense perhaps not as much ball pressure.
Wagstaff kept it alive, but there was only Phoenix players there ready and waiting. Iwandu with room to shoot. Sundance trying to find some room. John Brown almost. They are so locked in defensively.
And Desch just didn't have good vision. There was a wide open David Duke Jr. Couldn't spot him. Very fortunate not to commit their 10th turnovers. John Brown, the third, will get a breather. Only 2 points, but he's had a significant impact on this basketball game.
Henschel trying to make something happen offensively. Sobey has 8 points. Ian Clark has 10. Everyone getting on the board for the Phoenix from an offensive standpoint. Foul is on the ground.
Yeah, they're really not being forced out of anything. The way in which they can distribute the ball. There was that pass. He almost got intercepted, and he's just giving him a right jab.
Gave himself an uppercut.
I thought it was more like a right cross as opposed to a jab, but yeah, I feel you.
So there's the Phoenix first turnover of the game. It comes just before halftime. They still lead by 10. Windler through contact, no foul, unsuccessful. Christian Doolittle remains Perth's leading scorer. There's 2 turnovers in 2 possessions for the Phoenix. Doolittle like the look of the Sobey matchup. Too big, too strong.
Smart play there by Doolittle. Realized they turned it over the last time down.
Well,
Want to ensure they got a good look.
Nathan Sobey saying he didn't foul him. It looked like he just grabbed him, so I'm not sure what he was suggesting, but Sobey's first foul.
Christian Doolittle shooting 2 as he rolls that home. Kelsey.
In the last time out, John really spoke a lot about the pace of play. He said we're going too quickly, we need to calm it down. They seem to get a little bit more of a handle on this, and they aren't playing at the Phoenix pace anymore. Is that how you're seeing it, Andrew?
Yeah, well, I think there's a whole bunch of things right now that the Wildcats and the Phoenix would be trying to assess. Clearly, it's advantage Phoenix with 54 points on the board already, and the efficiency. And on the Perth Wildcats, the last couple of minutes have been more rewarding for them, because that's another turnover, 3 quick turnovers. And if I'm Johnny Rillie, I'm telling my guys, hey, test the limits of the officials. Just come out there and be super physical right now, because in the half court, Phoenix is just able to move. There's a lot of freedom of movement for the Phoenix.
They're starting to work this all out here, Derek, do you think, Perth?
Well, I think a lot of it is due to this man right here, Duke Jr. He's got 7 points. He hasn't turned the ball over, and they've looked a bit more stable with him on the floor.
Foxwell back out there for the Phoenix.
Windler's cooked. He needs a break.
Well, they do, but now they've got a small lineup on the floor. Another turnover. Henschel trying to make something out of nothing.
Lewis will go upstairs. Game-high 11-point lead right now for the Phoenix. And just as we were starting to sing Perth's praises, another turnover. It's become a huge factor for them in this first half.
But look at this lineup here. You've really got no designated 5-man or stereotypical 5-man or any real designated point guard. Henschel's running that, trying his best to fulfill that role, and the turnovers leading to easy buckets will kill you.
It'll be a big talking point for the boys at halftime. Points from turnover, points in the paint. Numbers that are not looking good for the Wildcats. Still a long way to go in the game, but right now, Southeast Melbourne are full of confidence. And that confidence only grows.
With that buffer, Andrew, it makes it a lot easier to shoot that 3-ball. Stray ball comes out to Glover, just scoops it up, raises up, knocks it down. 14-point lead for the Phoenix.
The NBL 6-man of the year, Angus Glover, connects on that one. He's got 10. And we're starting to repeat ourselves. Another turnover. Points count.
And Henschel just having a horror game here at JCA. No feel for it. No timing right now. That just comes from inactivity in games.
Yeah, 11 turnovers to the Wildcats. 8 of them coming from Doolittle and Henschel. Both have 4 apiece. And this is by design, the pressure that they are putting on them. And there you see, not quite in position, Henschel. Gets called for the block and one. Alarm bells are running very loud in John Rillie's head.
Phoenix, throughout the regular season, have led all of the effort stats. #1 in the competition for offensive rebound, #1 for points from turnovers, #1 for steals, #1 for second chance points. And right now, all of those things, Derek, all of the effort stats are in their favor again.
Going exactly the way Josh King had hoped. And the other thing is, Andrew, he's getting to play a lot of players.
Well, he is, yeah.
You know, that's what they're about. That's their ethos.
And on the flip side of that, the problem that Perth have had, they needed a big one out of JLA. He's only played 6 minutes. He's 0-1. He's got the 3 fouls. So that's really hurt the Wildcats.
Look at John Brown.
He's maniacal.
Hunting after that ball. Eventually, Doolittle draws a whistle. There is 0 breathing space out there right now for the Wildcats.
Well, Josh King and John really are exchanging words.
Well, that's unsustainable for the Wildcats. Doolittle's got 15 points, but if he has to have that much work just getting the ball over the halfway line, that's why I think just the pass. advance it more with passing.
You know, even the way you guys played back in the day with the Melbourne Tigers, advance it with a two-man front.
Correct.
Move the ball a little, penetrate into the gap, kick, and just advance the ball that way. This is just too taxing or leads to turnovers.
It's a frustrated Christian Doolittle, but take a look at him there. An exhausted Christian Doolittle has played 19 minutes in this first half and has had to work so hard for his 16 points.
Yeah, outside of the turnovers, the 4 of those, 5 of 8, he's been the focal point on the offensive end. From threes and just a simple penetration to the bucket.
Final possession of the first half. The Phoenix would love to finish full of momentum heading into the main break. Clock down to 3. Clark takes matters into his own hands. They can do no wrong right now. And at the halftime break, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix have got a semi-final spot in their vision. They lead by 17.
Final possession, symbolic of the first half for Southeast Melbourne. Just looked the defender in the eye. Ian Clark gets on his left hand with a deft touch off the glass.
Woo! Kelsey Brown.
The first thing that Angus Glover said to me is, got no breath. That was going to be my first question. It feels like you guys have taken it up even a notch again in terms of pace and ferociousness in this postseason.
Yeah, for sure. We wanted to get back to what we did well in the first half of the year, and it's only one half. Like, got another do for another 20. They're a great team. They can come back.
64 points, so what will Josh King be saying at the half? There can't be much that you guys need to fix.
Keep being aggressive offensively and keep being aggressive defensively.
Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
64 plays 47 here at John Cain Arena. A fast start for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They've got 1 foot in that third position. Don't go anywhere. The boys will break it down at halftime after this.
What a first half performance from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, putting the Perth Wildcats to the sword. A commanding lead. The Perth Wildcats on their knees at the moment. What can John really do in the locker room at halftime? He's been away from the team all week. He's going to have to use all his voice to try to will them back into this game. John Cain Arena is alight because the Phoenix have 1 foot in the direction of the semi-final right now as we look at the match stats. It is not pretty for the Perth Wildcats.
And the key number is, look at the bottom right there, 11 turnovers. Give all the credit to the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. We knew they'd ramp up the pressure, Copes. They have done that. That was a really disappointing half from a Perth perspective, looking after the ball, just handing it straight back to the Phoenix. John Brown III being a menace. That's one of the probably the worst first halves we've seen from Ben Henschel on that end, as well as the point guard. He's much better than that, and they need him in the second half.
Absolutely. We've spoken about it halfway through the season. Perth need a point guard. You can say what you want to say about David Duke Jr. Yes, he can play the point guard position, but he's not a true point guard. And this is when you need a guy to get the ball down the floor and set these guys up into offense.
And you watch this defensive pressure right now from the Phoenix. The Perth Wildcats were the ones to come out and change the defensive scheme for Southeast Melbourne when they played them all the way at the beginning of the regular season. You mentioned it during the week, Pete. This is what they did to them. And wow, the Phoenix have just flipped the script.
And they've just continued to pile the pressure up non-stop the entire first half. And in that game, Christian Doolittle had to play the point guard. John Brown III, as Gazy said during the call, that's not going to get them the win. He can't do that every time. He needs someone else, whether it's Duke Jr. or Ben Henschel, to change, snap out of that first half. That'll help them relax a little bit.
You know what that is? That's great coaching. Because, you know, Josh King has had time to get these guys ramped up with their defense. This is the kind of defense they played at the beginning of the season.
And the NBL season gives you stuff you never expect. I've never seen a 55-second package during a halftime of turnovers alone. Right. That is the state of the Perth Wildcats right now. And not only the turnovers, you've got the one man who you said also during the week, they can only go as far as this man takes them, JLA, with the early fouls.
And again, the key to that is we don't see him be effective at all. He can't play in the first half. He is so crucial to their success. But even still, they probably couldn't do a whole lot with him because they can't get the ball over the court, Coach.
If I'm John, really, I'm telling JLA in the second half, don't worry about your fouls. Just go out and give me what you can. Rebound, set high screens so your guards can get the ball up the floor.
And the other side of it is, yes, they've turned the ball over, but to be honest, in that first half, they can't stay in front of a street light because the Phoenix are just turning the corner and getting a layup anytime it's not a fast break opportunity. That was a really disappointing half from the Perth Wildcats.
Right now, this is not what we expected from the Perth Wildcats. What we did expect was Doolittle to come out here and be a force, as he has been all year. But right now, he has no supporting cast as we look at the Hungry Jacks highlights. It is all Doolittle, who right now is getting the better of John Brown individually.
Well, he is, but also John Brown III has got the better of him and forcing a couple of turnovers as well. But he's playing a lone hand. Dylan Windler started good, knocked down a couple of threes, but man, he can't score the ball at will every single time, as well as playing the point guard. It is too hard against a formidable defensive lineup.
Yes, you want to be the leader, and yes, you want these guys on your back. But Pete, you're absolutely right. That's just a little bit too much trying to set the offense up and score the rock.
And play every minute.
And on a team like this, it's impossible.
And the hard part is, Pete, you mentioned it, they look fatigued right now. And if they drop this game, they're going to be coming up against Melbourne United very, very quickly. Hey. That's all running through their head right now.
And what's running through Melbourne United's head sitting back watching this, if you're Tyson Walker and Shea Illy and see what's happening to Ben Henschel, Dante Russo-Nanzga out there, you're licking your lips. You're thinking, we get through tomorrow, let's go over to Perth.
Sometimes you need a blowout game, though. And if they do play Melbourne United, I would suspect these guys to go back and play the way they did. Melbourne United are not Southeast Melbourne. They don't press like that.
And right now, for the Perth Wildcats, for the Perth Wildcats fans at home, that was the worst first half of basketball they have put together
for a long
all
time.
Year. And they're still within at least arm's reach. It's not 20 points as we cut to a break. Plenty more second half coming up next. And even tomorrow, Melbourne United and the Jack Jumpers. I keep saying Melbourne United because the Jack Jumpers, they're undermanned, backs against the wall. But how many times have we seen them bounce back? And Melbourne United, well, who knows what they're going to bring to the table tomorrow, 7:30 p.m.
So much pride is riding on the line today. On 7 Sport and GWN. Hi everybody, I'm Dennis Cometti. Welcome along to the Perth Entertainment Centre for the third and deciding game in the NBL Grand Final Series between the reigning champs, the Perth Wildcats, looking to repeat, and the Eastside Melbourne Spectres. Hi everyone, welcome along to the Perth Entertainment Centre for the final qualifying game of the season. Flicked out of there by Blauhoff to Michaels. The Wildcats are running. It's 3-on-3. Michaels gets it from Price. It's a nice way to finish. The Wildcats are champions. And what a grand final series it was.
Devastating news that we learned earlier today, the passing of the legendary sports broadcaster Dennis Cometti. There's some of his vision dating back to the early 90s, broadcasting the NBL. His love of the NBL goes well beyond that, though. Has been a long-time #1 ticket holder of the Perth Wildcats, a lover of basketball in this country. And Derek and Andrew, I speak on behalf of all of us when I say one of the greatest sports broadcasters that has ever lived, and a loss that we're all feeling tonight.
And he's a great man and always had time for a conversation about the game. He was a staunch Perth Wildcats supporter. And Andrew, I know you spent a lot of time with the great man, and I want to wish condolences to all his friends and his family.
Yep, and just there's so many Cometti-isms that too many to mention, but look, Liberatore went into the last pack optimistically and came out misty optically was the one that I remember the most. He's an absolute beauty, and share your thoughts and condolences to the family. And we are all part of the family when it comes to Dennis.
Yep.
He loves his Perth Wildcats. And right now they have got some work to do. Joe Chul Jr. back out on the floor, has 3 fouls, played just the 6 minutes in the opening half. One of the marquee big men here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. The Wildcats desperately need him to have an impact in this third quarter.
Well, that'll be another foul on Owen Foxwell, number 3 for him, and a bit of a domino type play. Bodies clanged against one another, and he got ruled to be the problem.
Well, they are doing what I think the Perth Wildcats need to do, and that is test the limits of the officials. Very, very physical on the ball, with forcing a lot of those turnovers. And there's another positive start to the half of the Perth Wildcats, with Joe Chul knocking down a bucket, his first field goal for the game.
Foxwell's had the better of his matchup with Henschel. That time loses possession. Phoenix ball from the baseline with 11 on the shot clock.
And again, Andrew, Perth have nothing to lose. You get a second chance at it. Just go all out here. There's no need to be conservative. Give it your best. Try and chase this lead down.
Henschel off balance. He's not having a great night. Foxwell, on the other hand, he's disappointed that he left that short. Nice hustle by Windler. End result, though, less than ideal.
It was a gamble, trying to save it. And if you're going to save it, you've got to try and throw it further down the court to your end, but sat perfectly for Foxwell. Wide open 3.
New game high, 18-point lead. That's better from Ben Henschel, has 9 points.
And all he needs, just make some basic plays, see things go his way. We're a very high-strung bunch, basketball players. Can change your fortunes quickly.
Rebound by Christian Doolittle. Has 4 of those to go with his 17 points. He's the game's leading scorer. All-NBL first-team member, voted on last week. Stripped by Brown, though.
The referees all look at each other. They have no idea.
Thought it come off Henschel. He reached at it and knocked the ball. And when none of the officials know it's a jump ball, and of course we don't have jump balls, so it's alternating possession, unless of course they get some advice from the review center.
Well, we get a better angle there, and it clearly came off of Henschel.
The 3 referees all looked at each other and thought, well, I thought you were looking. And they said, I thought you were looking. And in the end, no one was looking.
We'd rather him do that than just have a guess.
You sure?
Yeah. Absolutely. You just don't want to have, oh, well, I don't know, I'll just 50-50 chance and have a guess.
I think Josh King would have preferred a guess.
Oh, he would have.
Because they clearly got it wrong.
Nice ball movement. Elijah Pepper, wide open three. Wildcats Jr. making a difference in the third quarter.
So I might be a bit optimistic here, Andrew, but it feels like the energy's turned just slightly.
It has, and also a couple of missed shots by the Phoenix has helped the Wildcats' cause. Pepper checks out of the game.
Top 10 in the competition for points per game. Joe Wildcats Jr. Top 3 in the competition for blocks. John really watching on with a stern look on his face. But they're far from done.
Plenty of time. Turnovers and easy buckets can sometimes misrepresent the actual margin. It's only a 12-point game, but the way Southeast Melbourne's gotten in front has been kind of embarrassing for the Wildcats.
Only 3 points in the third quarter so far for the Phoenix. That lead is just starting to dwindle away. They turn to Sobey, as they do every time.
Henschel's on an island there. Sobey just shaking and baking and just said all the very best. And not a lot of help coming for him. And Sobey, third in the MVP because he can make plays.
That's 7 second-half points for Wildcats Jr.
Well, much better structure. And they're forcing Southeast Melbourne to play them in the half court. Doing a good job against the extended pressure as Foxwell continues to get on the rim. And that is now 48 points in the paint by the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. The season high for a team is 74, Andrew.
Yeah, I think that was the Illawarra Hawks.
Correct.
Earlier on in the season, round 11, I believe.
Doolittle inside with authority! My goodness!
Oh, that was with power. Wasn't like he was all that high, but gee, threw that down with some venom.
But they just can't get the critical stops when they need them. They've taken a bit of the sting out of this game, and it's being played more to the Wildcats' want, but you got to get stops.
Uh-oh. Where's Awundu? Might have taken a bit of friendly fire from John Brown, who once he sees the ball, he's got to go and get it. Doesn't matter who's in the way. Foxwell from deep. Now they're starting to get their shooting game going.
Foxwell in particular, a couple of threes, the penetration into the rim, and the way he's playing, he's got those 3 fouls. I'd be going at him. Just try and see how much he can play some D down this end.
Doolittle doing his best to keep the Wildcats in it.
Been tremendous. We saw him do this last season in the playoffs, where he teamed up with Bryce Cotton then. Well, there's no Cotton this season. He's decided, yo, this is my team.
This would look a whole lot worse for the Wildcats had it have not been for Christian Doolittle. Sobey tries to invent something. That should be a Perth ball.
Great D by Doolittle then. Just stayed vertical. Have a look at the Amy replay of Doolittle's dunk. That is on the hellacious area because it's thrown down with great authority, and also Geordie Hunter just comes into vision.
He's got to make better business decisions, Geordie Hunter. This has happened too often to him in the last couple of years. Clark pulls up in the mid-range. That's easy money for Ian Clark.
We're going to get another go at it as well. The bucket's going to count, and it's an off the foul on the rebounding count. I think it's on David Duke Jr.
Points count, red 12.
That Southeast Melbourne Phoenix bench just continues to come in and give the energy. Clark mid-range pull-up, and Duke Jr. just shoves John Brown III in the back. And that's another effect that John Brown has. his energy is antagonizing, and other teams just get tired of him, and they do things like that to try and counteract. There's another hole by Duke Jr. 2 poor plays.
Oh, not the last 2 minutes. Not the last 2 minutes. Step on the side. Stay out.
So that's 3 now on David Duke Jr.
Here we go.
Well, I guess he's doing what I asked, and that is test the limits, but you've got to be a bit more subtle about it.
Sobey threw a bullet inside for John Brown. That's enough for John Riley. The lead is now 18, and they just cannot get any closer, Perth.
Nathan Sobey doing his thing. Tied for 3rd in the NBL MVP race. And he's been very good in this one. 13 points, 7 dimes in just 23 minutes.
So a massive thanks to Bunnings for their support across this NBL26 season. Young Hoopers got closer to the action than ever before with thanks to Bunnings courtside access, delivered epic NBL game day experiences right across Australia and New Zealand as well. This is unforgettable sort of stuff. There's some of the scenes from Hoops Fest, Derek. When you're young, you never forget these moments, and a massive thanks to Bunnings courtside access, who are backing the next generation of ballers. How cool is that?
Well, the NBL keeps coming up with outstanding initiatives, and the courtside access by Bunnings was no exception. And I love how the fans, and especially the kids, are able to get down there. And credit to the NBL players also, always willing to dap up a youngster, make him feel good about himself.
Yep. Kelsey, you were taking a listen to John Riley.
It was all about the defensive end, but more so about the voice. He said, we've got no energy with our voice at the moment. He spoke to the guards about being physical and fighting over, making sure they have to shoot from the three-point line, but being a lot more physically aggressive on the defensive end, especially with their voice.
They just let through too many points, 80. Still with 3 minutes and 56 seconds left. Duke Jr. trying to get busy. Elijah Pepper has been starved of opportunities. It's been a tough night at the office for him. Malik Lewis. No good. Brown out to Glover. And a couple of golden opportunities go begging for the Phoenix. But a substantial lead in the seeding qualifier. The winner to play the Adelaide 36ers.
Josh King, super animated on the sideline.
I think he's animated because he feels like this is a time where they can be broken. They can just put the game to bed in this next couple of minutes if they can get a couple of stops and some buckets. Getting the buckets has been the easier part of that. Got to get over the centre line. They didn't get it over the centre line. Gee.
This is becoming hard to watch.
Yeah, it is, and it just as it's not working when they're established. When the defense is established and they're up the floor, they just don't have that point guard skill sets against this level of pressure. Zone defense now by the Wildcats. It's a 1-2-2, opens the middle up.
I mentioned this earlier that it's been the biggest discussion about the Perth Wildcats all season long is the point guard position. They had Mason Jones earlier in the season. They decided to part ways. Then they found Jaron Riley as a development player to get some opportunities, and he was making things happen, Derek, before his hamstring injury ruled his season over. They are being exposed on the big stage here for lack of quality ball handling.
Yeah, in Southeast Melbourne will shine the light on you brighter than any other team in the league on that end. Now, Sydney are #1 in the league in defense, but Sobey goes to the rack again. But the way the Phoenix really turn you over and get after you is another level.
9th offensive rebound of the night for the Phoenix. They lead the competition in that stat. Great pass, Clark for a lead. It's just so easy on the offensive end for them, and they lead by 20.
And there's a danger for the Wildcats from a mindset perspective, Andrew. They know they have to play again now, down 20 on Saturday night. Wagstaff and Aaliyah into it.
hustle from Sobey. Josh King almost jumps on top of him.
The hustle from Josh King, just to go down and try and help his player up and show the respect and determination and trying to positively reinforce the incredible hustle. Look at Josh King. Well done, coach.
A great defensive read by Nathan Sobey. Been underrated on that side of the floor, I felt, throughout his career. And he's been outstanding with his effort. And it's so important when your best offensive player, Drew, is willing to give on the defensive end.
He's had a good night coaching, Josh King. He's had a great time here in the NBL coaching. And he has driven the defensive end of the floor first, and it's paying dividends for them.
Well, that field goal attempted disparity is increasing, is now up to 23. The Wildcats have only taken 41 shots to the Phoenix's 64.
And the turnover count 14-4, a big part of the reason for that.
Jude Henschel sitting on watching at the moment. 14 turnovers for the night. They've been manhandled, the Perth Wildcats. Phoenix aren't done yet. Foxwell lets it fly.
This is an example. You look at the lineups on the floor here for both these teams. The days of a stereotypical five-man, that big man, there's still a significant role for that, but we don't have one on the floor in either team at the moment. You've basically got Wagstaff in, I guess, that 5 spot. They do have some size across the board.
But credit to Southeast Melbourne, because they bent this game in their favor. Where Perth had the advantage coming in was with their bigs, with Doolittle, JLA. And they basically rendered JLA useless in this one.
There's patience from Doolittle. Alir has played some very, very important minutes for the Phoenix. Quickly to the other end. Malik Lewis misses from close range.
Nice move, didn't reward himself. Good screen there by Wagstaff.
Really no good on his 3-ball. Loose ball. Josh King contemplating a review.
Both coaches have been conservative. I thought there were a couple of opportunities to challenge.
Couple of seconds difference between game and shot clock. A massive, massive lead for the Phoenix in the seeding qualifier. Sobey winds the clock down. And has 2 free throws coming his way.
And again, he's able to get to his left hand, Jack. Sets up his defender, and you just got to keep him off that left-hand penetration.
Now, you really need to take note of the details on your screen here, because this is your chance to win the Mitsubishi Outlander. Not just any, it's the LS Black Edition. Oh, plus more. And $45,000 in additional prizes. Just jump online, scan the QR code, or go to nbl.com.au/win a car. Enter the code word, fill in your details, and you are in the draw.
I don't think you read that right. Did you say 45? Is that all it costs?
No, that's the additional prizes on top of the Outlander. The code word is accelerate.
Oh, firstly, how dare you question our fearless leader.
I was going to say that
highly competent superstar Jack Hep.
Particularly when it comes to talking about the Mitsubishi. That's
delightful comfort.
Got a nice new clean today. Looks brand new.
Yeah, Andrew took me for a ride in his a couple of months ago.
Nathan Sobey sits down.
Very nice ride.
Oh, beautiful.
Pepper to try and land one final blow. That's smart from Akechilia.
Had a foul to give, and good timing. Only 2.6 on the clock. Josh King thinks that there was a slow trigger by his score bench.
Windler from deep. Southeast Melbourne lead by 22 points in the seeding qualifier. A date with the Adelaide 36ers is ahead of them with a quarter remaining here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Commanding lead here for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They lead by 22 points over the Perth Wildcats. It's 86 plays 64 with 10 minutes remaining in this seeding qualifier. Listening to John Rill, and he said, we've got to stay active on the rebounds and obviously we need to get stops. But this first group, we just need you to chip away and gain some confidence because they'll be ending into that playoff in Saturday. But Gazy, I need to remind you at the start of the game, I said that I think Perth Wildcats are going to come in here and win this one.
Yep.
You said no, I think it's going to be the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix.
Thank you.
Now we know who the expert is.
Well, the Wildcats try to come out with something a little different, 2-3 zone. But a lot of question marks about the Phoenix and what happens when the three ball doesn't drop as Windler splashes the three and Josh King, the coach, almost throws his shoulder out in his disgust. But the Phoenix have been 6 of 24, only 25%, but still able to take control and command this game. So a lot of people feel that if the three ball's not dropping, and you've got an advantage. Well, not tonight.
That is absolutely not how the Phoenix drew that play up, but it works.
So John really is saying, doing the air balls, that the shot clock was stopped either intentionally or unintentionally, and so the review center will have a look at this.
Yeah, he's not saying that. I don't think he's arguing it got reset. It's just
it stopped.
That they might have had a slip, bit of hesitation on the finger, and might have stopped it.
Casting a. Let's have a look in the background here.
Well, that's not the issue.
So you can see it ticking over there.
Yeah. So, but I think the issue was more before that.
It didn't stop. Must have been an optical illusion.
I thought Johnny was arguing to stop before after the shot. But either way, with the time left on the clock, they were still going to be able to get it up, and it was still going to be a made basket.
14 turnovers for the night for the Perth Wildcats. Joe Wildshaw Jr. had a good third quarter, 9 points and 6 rebounds from it. Here's a positive for Elijah Pepper. He's one of their form players coming in, but unfortunately has not had the same success that he had for the Boomers last week.
Pretty basic basketball there. They go pick and roll. Big man dives. Pepper lifts. Gets that wing 3 to go.
Well, they've limited his opportunities. He's only had 5 field goal attempts, 2 of 5 from the field. Is great defense to limit him to only 5, because he's going to get him up. If he sees daylight, Elijah Pepper can find a way to get it out of his hands, but he hasn't been able to do that.
Games of 28 and 23 for the Boomers in the recent FIBA break against the Philippines and Guam. Tonight has been a far greater challenge. There's nowhere to hide when it's playoff basketball. Back-to-back buckets for Perth. They're within 16.
Duke Jr. has looked good the past 2 possessions in that pick and roll. Creating good scoring opportunities. First to 3 in there. The dunk by JLA.
Now they need a stop. That'll help their cause.
They're sticking with the zone. It's a 2-3 zone now rather than the 1-2-2, so they can protect the middle a little bit.
Pepper scores. Don't turn the channel just yet.
No, sir.
88-74, Tangerine timeout in the seeding qualifier. So that's 6 unanswered points.
A quick 10-2 run since the 3rd quarter break. And David Duke Jr. has done a very good job. He's got 3 assists to open this 4th quarter. 14-point game. They're well ahead of where I thought they needed to be, Drew.
Yeah, as far as a comeback.
Yeah.
And they're chipping away, give themselves a chance, and just find a way to try and make the Phoenix a little nervous. And they're sitting in a zone, and the idea of that's trying to protect the paint. And it's dangerous against a team like Phoenix that are comfortable shooting the 3. But when momentum's against you, those semi-open 3 balls just become a little harder to shoot, the elbow a little tighter, and they're hoping that they can generate some misses.
$88-74, the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix ahead of the Perth Wildcats, but a 10-2 run in this quarter. Here's the Mitsubishi Motors ladder 3-point leaders. Dylan Windler, Christian Doolittle with a 3 each tonight. A couple more would make it interesting. Loyola Jewell Jr. sends Clark out of there.
Well, they changed up the defense and went back to their man after that timeout. Good job here by JLA. Rides the hip of Ian Clark and then throws it into the front row.
It's really the first time tonight that the Phoenix have just had to have a little pause and regain their composure. Ian Clark knows exactly what it takes at this time of year.
Does a good job coming off of that pin down. Defender followed. He automatically curls like a smart offensive player does. And the Amy replay. There he comes into the paint, and Windler just hacks him across the forearms. And 1.
Just needed to keep the arms vertical. It's always going to be hard to block that shot coming down on it. And what about the funky silver leaning shoes?
What's the level above fire? Whatever it is, that's what those shoes represent.
Well, you need to be able to ball when you've got some bling like that on the feet.
You're not wearing them at Frankston C-grade on a Monday night, I'll give you the tip.
Well, what he does, Ian Clark, he's quietly, to a certain extent, going about it. Renowned for the 3 ball, but tonight he's 8 of 12 from the field, 0 for 3. And straight away, he's headed to the locker room, is it?
Yeah, well, we saw him grab his ankles after that and 1. Took a minute to get himself set on the free throw line. He tried to shake it off, and after that defensive possession, just declare, I had enough for now. I got to go get this looked at.
How have you seen David Jr.'s night?
Solid, and I think these minutes are important for him if the Wildcats are to continue in a positive vein for the rest of the postseason. Leave him out there. Let him get some burn.
He played the 19 minutes, 3 of 5 from the field.
Seen from rounds 15 to 20 because of an elbow issue.
Well, after we saw that injury against the Adelaide 36ers, there was a lot. It's remarkable that he's back playing this season.
Yeah.
It looked like a nasty injury he'd sustained to the elbow.
Sobey off the inbound. That's how they drew it up.
And that's been the story of the game. Every time Perth try and make a little bit of a move, they either can't contain the Phoenix off the dribble, or the Phoenix do a good job in finding the bucket. And Pepper got away with the travel.
And the ball's on the floor. The Phoenix always get after it.
Yeah, they do. Another thing they can consider, particularly when you're not necessarily fluent in how you're going to advance the ball, even some screening in the backcourt. Now, with the aggressive way the Phoenix play, that you can be susceptible to double teams, but just some screening so it's not such a war, one-on-one war to get the ball over the floor is something that they could look at as well.
This result tonight might just change your finals bracket. You can predict the NBL finals bracket, chance to win some official team jerseys. You can map a road to the championship for any team. It's all available at nbl.com.au.
Well, I know one state whose brackets are probably not looking good at the moment.
Yes, they will get another chance. Foxwell, stolen away. And lays it up.
Smooth. He's been outstanding in all aspects of the game. Shooting the 3-ball, forcing turnovers, getting out in transition. He's a very good basketball player, Owen Foxwell.
Tomorrow night it is Melbourne and Tasmania. They'll both be watching on tonight because for the winner of that game, they will play the Perth Wildcats on Saturday at RAC Arena. Do or die for Melbourne United and Tasmania. And you know what, Derek?
Yeah.
When these two get together,
oh yeah,
anything can happen.
Well, we know the Jack Jumpers' affinity for playing not only Melbourne United, but right here in JCA.
Well, they're going to be nervous for Melbourne United. And I noticed our pre-game half-time crew, they've basically put a line through the Jack Jumpers on. I don't know why you'd want to do that just yet.
No.
Because they have been renowned for upsets. And against Melbourne United. And at John Cain Arena. So the combination.
Right. Well, I mean, you did kind of throw shade across all the guys, and it was mostly Felix.
Tanasi Kokonakis in the house tonight, taking it all in. Yeah, we'll just be making some drinks arrangements for post-game as well. Kelsey Brown, courtside.
I listened in to Josh King there. Casey, you mentioned it earlier. You said they want to be able to break teams apart, and he mentioned just that. He said, this is the next 6 minutes. We want to see what we can do, push it out. But a little update on Ian Clark. He's still out the back. He's getting checked by the medicals. It was a left ankle. He just landed slightly on the land when he went to the basket. So still looking at him. I doubt we'll see him for the rest of the game, though.
And they can just put him on ice now. And they can take a little bit of a breather and watch it all unfold for the remainder of the play-in weekend. What would Melbourne and Tasmania, Derek, be thinking about Perth? I mean, they've got to win tomorrow night first, but what would they have observed from tonight?
Well, they would see the vulnerability against defensive pressure. Now, obviously, Melbourne is more equipped to provide a level of pressure as Doolittle misses, and Duke is there to clean it up. But Melbourne United can probably generate 75% of this type of pressure that we've seen here from Southeast Melbourne. And I think Tasmania, they'll have to play a completely different style of basketball if they were to get through.
That's right. And it's easier said than done because this is something that the Phoenix have been conditioned to do the entire season. Up and in, extended defense, a whole bunch of ball pressure. And they live with certain things by playing that way. Trying to do that and change the point of emphasis as Sobey knocks down the 3 ball. Trying to do that and turn that around and find a formula to do that in a short period of time is not that easy.
And understand the Wildcats will be a significantly different team Saturday night out at RAC Arena.
If they're not, then it's going to be a very short postseason experience for Perth. There's no other way to sugarcoat this, Derek. They have to be better Saturday night, regardless of who the opponent is.
And there's no doubt they will be cheering hard for Tasmania.
Yes, I think that would be the preferred option. But the bottom line is, if you're worried about matchups and, oh, we prefer this when it comes to the finals, when we've got such parity in this league, then you're going to be struggling to get the ultimate prize.
This pass from Foxwell. Malik Lewis was alone and waiting in the corner. Foxwell's done it again. He's a thief.
You can see why the LSU Tigers at the collegiate level seem to be opening the checkbook for Foxwell.
Well, it's just not LSU, Drewy, if you have your ear to the streets.
Oh, to the streets. When's the last time you went to the streets?
What are you talking about? I'm out there every day.
You live in the Docklands, you flog.
The tough streets of the Docklands.
101 to 78. There's a story with Ian Clark, Kelsey. What's the latest?
Yes, well, there's a reason I'm a sideline reporter and not a physio. That looks like a calf, but I was originally told it was an ankle. It does look like that left calf now, but like you said, a little bit of an update there on Ian Clark. Good thing is they've got a little bit of time to get this right, but he seems to be in good spirits and up and about, but I just wanted to correct that reporting.
Well, you'd prefer it with an ankle. The calves can be tricky to manage.
Yes.
That's not the news that they were looking for, Southeast Melbourne.
And with game 1 of their series Tuesday night.
Potentially. Against Adelaide, potentially. There's Noah Cole-Kuheg, one of the next stars. Haven't seen a great deal of him in the second half of the season.
Well, with respect to the players on the floor for the Perth Wildcats right now, but Johnny really's put the white flag up and he's already in preparation mode for what has to happen on Saturday night.
Foxwell, what a find inside. Dare I say it, it was centimetre perfect.
Beautifully, beautifully done.
23-point advantage. And this night just gets better and better for the Phoenix. Matt Mayan short. Nice rebound by the next star. He's got some long levers. And Foxwell picks up his 5th foul of the night, so that'll be his night done and dusted.
And coming into this one, it was the Phoenix perimeter players basically against the Perth bigs in terms of dominance, and that is a beautiful pass. Small window to get it through.
And you know what Sobe did? He snuck around the defender like a librarian.
He never heard him coming. Sobe sits down.
Glover, Sobe, Foxwell, Clark, they've scored 70 points between them. And they've just dominated this game.
Still got one more to come. Cam Hoofner. They've met a couple of times at the business end of the season. Both times it's been the Perth Wildcats successful. They won last year by 17 at the High Performance Centre. And then a couple of years earlier, they won by 7 in a play-in situation. But the Phoenix have had a much better night tonight.
And it's a credit to the play-in tournament. I love it. And again, tomorrow night, we mentioned it, there will be a lot of suspense and drama about that game. And then the final game on Saturday night will be terrific.
Yeah, it certainly will. And Sydney Kings and the Adelaide 36ers sit back and watch these teams slug it out.
DJ Mitchell getting an opportunity late in the game. Had a case to call for a foul, eventually found one.
Well,
he's an interesting case, DJ Mitchell. Sorry, Derek. He's only played 29 seconds in 1:47 in the last 2 games of the regular season, DJ Mitchell. There was a period there where he was one of the first men off the bench.
Yeah, he was, and don't think that those low burn appearances are going to affect his confidence.
No, he's not deterred. He'll come out, and if he's open from the 3 in particular, he'll let it fly. And really, him and Ali have been splitting minutes, splitting that role.
Well, he self-identifies as being offensive-minded.
We like those sorts of guys. 3 minutes remaining in the seeding qualifier. Nice look for Sunday Detch.
And the Wildcats hit those 6 threes in the first period. Since that time, they've only made 5.
Glover returns the favour. So going into Saturday, Derek, do they simplify it even more? Is it Christian Doolittle's ball on Saturday night? Do they try and prioritise JLA more, albeit he was in foul trouble early tonight? What has to change other than the obvious ball handling issues? What else can they do differently Saturday, Perth?
Well, I think they've got to find a way to get Pepper involved. He's become a key piece in their offensive scheme. He stretches the floor for everyone else to do their bit. Drew, the big adjustment I would make, I think it's time to go with David Duke Jr. in the starting lineup.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily solve the problems that they've had in the backcourt, but certainly once they get it over there, then he looks like he can contribute, and just maybe there's still some lingering issues with his elbow or whatever, but even on tonight's performance, though, he's been solid.
And the other aspect, Andrew, is the Perth Wildcats finished number 3 in the league in defensive rating. And this is not an effort here or an execution level that represents the quality of their defense, especially late in the season. And we're probably going to have a challenge here.
Yeah, I thought it come off his leg. I think John Riley's right. He was right in front of him.
I think this will be a pretty short coach's challenge. The official on the baseline was slightly obscure in his view.
Yeah.
Angus Glover just having a chat to us as he walks past.
Well, he believes it's a wasted timeout. But I think this is about John really just a little frustrated with things going on, because whether he wins or loses, this challenge is going to be completely irrelevant. But right there, it comes off someone's knee. Was that...
That's Sunday Detch's knee.
Was it Sunday's or...
It was Sunday Detch's, the outside, it looks like,
right,
of his left shin.
Yep, spot on.
And that will be Southeast Melbourne basketball. But Andrew, looking at the stats, the Wildcats, due to all those turnovers, have only attempted 55 shots. Now, they're number 1 in the league in reducing field goal attempts each game. They only give up 67 shots attempted per game. So that led the league, and to be at 55 is an amazing performance on the defensive end.
Yeah, it is, and the shooting of the Wildcats just statistically has not been bad. 51% from the field, 43% from the three-point line, and 82% from the free throw line. So the 17 turnovers is the thing that's really jumped up the page.
Luke Rosendale into the game. Scores off his first possession, and he comes up smiles.
Josh King's going deep into the bench. Rosendale shows you a little something. He's been able to produce some memorable moments when he gets in the game over the past couple of seasons, shoots it well. Has he added a little stuff, a little something off the bounce, Drew?
Well, yeah, he's hardly played all season, only played in 3 games, played 3 minutes and 49 seconds in total. Played more last season, but he's more than capable. He's He's done some good things at the NBL 1 level.
He's got some talent. You like that finish. A turnaround jumper from Russo Nance. The other factor, and it's by no means excusing the performance at all for Perth, but this was always going to be a tricky proposition for these two teams tonight, and will be for Melbourne and Tasmania tomorrow after a layoff. Will Perth be better for the run of now having had this first game under their belt, albeit it's been a pretty average performance?
Without a doubt. And just the timing, the speed of the game. There's certain things about in-game play that can't be replicated training against one another. Now, if you're able to fly a Brisbane over and maybe have some 5-on-5 against the Bullets, that might help.
Why do you want to give the Bullets a little drive-by?
I'm not. I'm just saying maybe you could bring them over.
I reckon Brisbane are done, Derek. Or can they want to get out of here?
The only thing, this has been
They've been at the bar.
This is such a comprehensive win that you just don't want to. You got to try and forget about it, move on really quickly, because if it starts playing in your head and you lose a little confidence on a must-win game, do-or-die game, that can have an effect as well.
Yeah, you don't want to ruminate and dwell on this performance all the way back to Perth.
And it's going to be a tricky for John, really. How much of a deep dive does he go into it? I think you can't ignore the problems in the backcourt. So you've got to go through some vision to say, how are we going to fix that?
Easy two for Cam Hoofner. Minute 15 remaining. Melbourne and Tasmania tomorrow night. By the end of that, we will have our final bracket of the 4 remaining teams for semi-final action here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. An ambitious three from Lat Mayan. Perth get another look at things. Cam Hoofner, a nice jumper. Adds a bit of respectability back to the scoreline.
8 points and 6 rebounds. In 9 minutes.
Another one who hasn't played a lot, only played 9 games, or got in 9 games.
Why not?
Fans are urging Luke Rosendale to take this on. He pulls up from a mile away. Somewhere on Olympic Boulevard.
That is deep.
The party is well and truly started now. What a performance from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. That's called for a block. Here's Luke Rosendale.
He tripped him.
Nice arc on the shot, D.
Well, we know he can shoot it. And just steps back, knocks that one down.
A lot of smiles on that Southeast Melbourne bench. They'd lost 3 of their last 6 coming in to the play-in, but tonight has been much more like it. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix dominate the Perth Wildcats in the seeding qualifier and book their ticket to the Final 4. Winners 111-94 over the Wildcats.
Yeah, it was a solid win, and for a team that came in with the advantage, that is the Phoenix, they showed no nerves, and they established the tone very early on and had to weather that 3-point barrage in the first quarter, but they stick to their strategy, and the defense ultimately won through, and it's that extended defense. In the half court, the Perth Wildcats were not terrible, 50% from the field, 41% from threes, but the extended defense and the work in the backcourt forcing the Wildcats into 17 turnovers to only 5 for Phoenix is the most telling stat.
And it's an on-brand victory for Southeast Melbourne. Exactly how they've done it all year. high pace, turn the other team over, forcing 17, get out and run the floor. They didn't shoot the three ball well, but they made up for that with 17 offensive rebounds and a great job scoring over 65 points in the paint.
One of their best performances of the season, and they saved it for one of the biggest stages, Southeast Melbourne.
And they did it without lighting it up from the three-point line. Their calling card was is extended defense in the three ball. They only took 31, which is 5 below their season average, and they only made 8 of them at 25%. So to get such a comprehensive win with not necessarily a great game to an area that has been strong for them all season would be encouraging for them.
Kelsey has got one of their stars who was big again tonight.
I do. I'm with Nathan Sobey. No surprises. He's our Foot Locker player of the game. So talk us through just quickly that last reaction of Rosendahl's shot. You guys went up in arms. It was great to see.
I mean, there's a lot of banter that goes on during the week in the locker room and stuff, so for him to hit a deep three and an and one scoop layup was, I mean, it's huge for him. It's great, but the energy on the bench was even better.
So you've locked up that third position now. You know that you're facing Adelaide. How does it feel to get that one done and out of the way?
Yeah, the playing games are kind of tough. You obviously just want to win that first one and not have to worry about playing again in 2 days, but the boys came out ready to go, took care of business, set the tone early, and yeah, I mean, it does feel good to be ready to go in that playoff series now.
I said to Angus Glover at halftime, it seems like you guys have taken it up a notch in terms of ferociousness, but you also didn't shoot that well from the three-point line today and still find a way to come away with a win like that. Do you think that's something that you've added to your bow, just different ways to win?
Yeah, I mean, I think we set the tone earlier in the season with how we wanted to play, but we got kind of back end of that season kind of fell away from it. But Foxy, JB, Wes, the way they set the tone in the defensive end to start the game, forcing turnovers, it really put them on the back foot and got us going.
Got your little man here. Great to see you get another win. Do you want to say anything? Go, Daddy. He's over. Thanks so much for your time. So see you in Adelaide.
Cheers.
He's just done himself a little mischief, young Sobey, but he watched his dad burn up tonight. All NBL first teamer for this season. Finished up with 24 points, 7 assists as well to go with 4 rebounds. Tonight, he was a plus 26.
And in his long career, I don't think we've ever seen him play with this level of confidence and precision and selflessness. Andrew, he's getting at least 5 assists almost every game he plays now to go with 20-plus points per game, 9 of 18 from the field in this one. And he almost played a perfect game. He doesn't let up with his aggression and continues to just put pressure on defenses.
And it's great the way the other guys work around him as well, because they had contributions everywhere, but they know who the man is that they need to go to, and he's been delivering not just in this game, but all season.
Happy Nathan Sobey, and I'd imagine a happy coach with Kelsey.
Absolutely. Josh King, I just asked Nathan Sobey, is it nice to sort of get that one out of the way and get the win under your belt? How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, obviously it's good not to have to go in that do-or-die situation. Yeah, it was a good win for our guys. It's been a while since we played, and yeah, I thought for the most part after the first quarter we dominated the game.
How is it that you guys are able to sustain that level of physicality, that level of ferociousness, the level of pace? What is it that you are doing behind the scenes? Because it seems like you just managed to run over the top of teams time in, time out.
Yeah, we practice like that. When we get after it in practice, if you want to play like that, you just can't show up and decide to do that. So the guys get after each other in practice, and I think that makes it easy when the games roll around.
12 steals, you turned over 17 times for the Perth Wildcats. You now get to look towards Adelaide. What does the preparation for that look like for you guys now?
Rest first, and then they've been sitting at home waiting for us, so it'll be a fun series. I mean, it's a semifinals, final series, 2 good teams going at it. They've got really good players. They're in second place for a reason. We got to be ready to go.
Just like you were at the start of the game, you're as calm now. Enjoy this one. Go and appreciate it with the boys.
Kelsey, thank you.
Josh King happy with what he saw tonight. The Phoenix will be playing semi-finals basketball against the Adelaide 36ers. The Wildcats will be hosting Do or Die on Saturday night. We'll come back and chat about it next here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. One-way traffic tonight at John Cain Arena and a lot of smiles from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They led basically all night long. 111-94 the final score. The Phoenix into the Final Four. The Wildcats will host Melbourne or Tasmania on Saturday.
A great defensive effort right from the start. The Phoenix brought the intensity, they brought the heat, caused a lot of turnovers early in that first quarter, which led to a nice margin at the first break, which they built on throughout the final 3 quarters, Drew.
Yeah, they did it well, the Phoenix, and as you can see, the three-point numbers weren't as dominant as they have been previously, but still able to get the job done. And gee, it's hard to maintain that level of physicality, full court, the entire game. And like Coach King was talking about, you don't just turn that on. That is done through practice and repetition, and they do it so well.
Tomorrow night, no margin for error. No tomorrow for Melbourne United and the Tasmania Jack Jumpers back here at John Cain.
Cannot wait. The Jack Jumpers come in here, a heavy underdog, but they've got the system, they've got a brilliant coach, and they've got championship fiber in that program.
Yep, nervous time for Melbourne United, but looking forward to the game. And, well, the puzzle starts to take shape a little bit more after a comprehensive win by the Phoenix tonight.
So that is what is to come tomorrow night. Tasmania and Melbourne to get one step closer to the Final Four. Here's what's coming up for the Phoenix next. Game 1, we can now announce, will be Tuesday the 10th of March at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. Bryce Cotton and the 36ers will host the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix in Game 1 of that side of the bracket. But tomorrow, it's Melbourne and Tasmania as the play-in continues. On behalf of Gazy, Ruck, Kelsey and the boys from the pre-game, thanks so much for being with us tonight, and we will catch you tomorrow in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.